So now we're going to look at geometric series. And just like the arithmetic series, the geometric series is when you're basically adding all the terms in the sequence, except it's going to be a geometric sequence. There's a different SN formula, which is SN equals A1 minus A1 times R raised to the N all over 1 minus R. So this one is referring to that same email problem at the beginning. Refer to the beginning of the lesson. If the pattern continues, what is the total number of emails sent in the 8 rounds? So if you remember from the previous notes, we had A1 equals to 5, R was equal to 5, and in this case, we're finding 8 rounds, so N is equal to 8. So just plug all those parts in and simplify. I have 5 for A1 minus 5 times 5 raised to the 8th all over 1 minus 5. And do your order of operations. Remember, this is a key point. You got to do your exponents before you're multiplying. So raise 5 to the 8th, you get 390,625. I got to multiply that with 5. And then I'm doing 5 minus that. They're both negatives. You're dividing, becomes a positive, and it should become a positive because you're adding all the number of people that the email was sent to, which should be a positive, and you get 488,280. And so for all the other ones, they're the same as arithmetic series. You just have to use the new formula, the SN formula. And here I have the summation notation, and all the parts mean the same thing. This is my equation for the geometric sequence, and I'm finding the sum from the 3rd term to the 10th term. So to find this A1, I'm plugging in 3, and you just got to follow your order of operations. So I have to do 3 minus 1 is 2, 4 times 2 squared. I got to do the 2 squared first. 4 times 4 is 16. So A1 is equal to 16. I got to find the R. Well, you should know where the R is based off the AN formula, which is here. The R is like the B. It's whatever's being raised to that exponent. So here, the R is equal to 2. And then the only other thing I need A1s, I need R's, and I need this N. And the N is the number of terms you're adding. So 10 minus 3 is 7, plus 1 becomes 8. So there's 8 terms. So now I can plug it into the SN formula. A1 is 16 minus 16 times R is 2 raised to the 8th. Remember to do that part first. A lot of times I'll put that in parentheses to clarify that for myself. All over 1 minus R, which is 2. 16 minus 16 times 256, which when I simplify that, negative 4,080 divided by negative 1 becomes positive 4,080 is the sum of that sequence. In the next one, find A1 in the geometric series given. So this is my SN. That's going to be going on the left side of the equation. I have N and I have R. So I have it's equal to A1 minus A1 times 3 raised to the 7th all over 1 minus R. And because I'm trying to solve for A1 and I have 2 of them, but they're both here being added or subtracted together, what I'm going to do is basically factor that A1 out, and that makes this a 1, makes this a just 3 raised to the 7th, all over 1 minus 3. I'm going to go ahead and simplify that, and that becomes negative 2. So then I can go ahead and simplify this part. 13,116 is equal to negative 2,186 times A1 all over negative 2. Simplify this part. That becomes 1,093 times A1 divided by 1,093. And I get A1 is equal to 12. All right, go ahead and try these U-try problems. Pay attention to this second one because we didn't do one like this in the notes. But just like in the arithmetic, they don't give you all the information you need for the SN formula. So you have to go back to the AN formula for geometric in order to find it. So you're going to do AN is equal to A1 times R raised to the N minus 1 in order to find the N so that you can plug it into the SN. Also, just do 3, you don't need to do 4. Okay, so here are your answers. I'll go through them really quickly. The first one is basically just plugging it in, doing your order of operations correctly. 3 raised to the 10th is here, times 2. 2 minus that 118,000 divided by 2, you should simplify to 59,048. Number 2. Well, I had to plug it into the AN formula first, so 125 equals 2,000 times 1/2 raised to the N minus 1 divided by 2,000. 1 over 16 is equal to 1/2 raised to the N minus 1. 1/16 is equal to 1/2 raised to the N minus 1. You can change it to log form, or you could have gotten the basis to be the same. Either way, N minus 1 is equal to 4. Add the 1, and N is equal to 5. So then plug it in here, simplify it, and here I get 1,937.5 divided by 1/2. Well, that's the same thing as multiplying by 2, and I get 3,875 as the sum. A lot of this is just keeping all your signs in order and doing everything correctly in the calculator. Here's number 3. I have to find the A1. I plugged in 4. So 3 raised to the third is 27. 1/4 times 27, 27 over 4. You can use the decimal here, 6.75 as A1. My R is 3, and I get that because that's what's being raised to the exponent right here, and that's always going to be your R. And the N is equal to 9. 12 minus 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So when I go ahead and plug that in, I have my work here going this way, and then coming back here, and your answer should be 66,426. And the last one, this is one where you got to keep all your signs in order. I have the SN on the left side. I factored out the A1 here. But because -3 raised to the 8th, I have to do that first and then 1 minus whatever that is. And because that becomes a positive, it's really 1 minus 6,561. Do not change this to a plus here, or else you're going to end up getting the wrong answer. So because it's an even, that becomes a positive, and it's 1 minus that positive 6561. Down here, this 1 minus the negative becomes plus a positive, so that's going to become 1 plus 3. And that's where all the signs you got to make sure you keep in order. And then this becomes -6560 divided by 4 is -1640. Divide by that -1640, and you should get A1 is equal to 16. All right, you should be able to get this one actually before I give you the answer. Where do baby cows go for lunch? Did you get it? The cafeteria. The cafeteria, or calves.